Progressive overload with calisthenics is very simple, but almost no one does it right, getting stuck at the same rep range, the same movement progression, or just simply not growing. I'll be covering 4 popular methods of progressive overload, being hypertrophy training, strength training, explosive training, and muscular endurance training. And while all these methods will build strength and muscle no matter what method you use, each method has its own set of benefits and set of guidelines to go by. Our first progressive overload structure being hypertrophy training, or just simply muscle building. This method is mostly used by bodybuilders, being the most efficient for muscle growth. It is a very volumetric style of training at around medium volume and medium intensity. Being evened out in both fields means you get the best of both worlds. If your volume and intensity don't even out, you are doing something wrong. If intensity goes up, your volume goes down. If your volume goes up, your intensity goes down. If both your volume and intensity go up, you are overtraining. If your volume and intensity go down, you are undertraining. You either want one higher than the other or evened out. Hypertrophy training is most efficient while reps are being performed at a 60 to 80% intensity, or using a movement progression about 60 to 80% of your 1 rep max. However, with calisthenics, you probably don't know your 1 rep max, so let's just take, for example, rep maxes. If your rep max of a specific movement is, let's say, 20 reps, performing at a 60 to 80% intensity level will have your rep ranges being around 16 to 18 reps. Hypertrophy is commonly where the 3-set method comes into play. Hypertrophy being most prominent in the 8 to 16 rep range, leaving a few reps in the tank. To make sure you are training enough within this rep range, a good idea would be to go to failure on your last set, or replace your 3 sets with 2 sets going to failure every set. To prevent overtraining, you want no more than 5 exercises per session and no more than 2 movements per muscle. In order for hypertrophy to truly shine, you want every rep as difficult as possible. This means slow and controlled, eccentric, and proper form with every rep. And with our next training method, we have strength training, or your body's neurological adaptation to lift heavier. This is a very intensity-focused training style with low volume and high intensity. Exercise selection being between 80 and 100% intensity. I personally recommend 2 sets per exercise, 6 to 10 reps, a low rep range specified for that neurological adaptation, where you really struggle with the weight and your body has no choice but to adapt. Taking both of these sets to failure gives you the most out of your sets. I would recommend only using 2 compound exercises per session so you don't overtrain the muscles that were already used in the other exercise. For example, you could do 2 sets of dips and 2 sets of pike push-ups, or 2 sets of pull-ups and 2 sets of rows, just so you don't break down the other muscles that you were already used even more, prolonging recovery and killing your gains. Another training method is going to be explosive training, or plyometric training, focusing on your power output. This is also a low volume, high intensity method, focusing more on your explosive intent and your desire to move more. You want to aim for quality reps, quality over quantity. It is always the best choice to aim for high sets, low reps, so you're always getting quality reps per every set. 7 sets of 3 quality reps is always the better option compared to 3 sets of, let's say, 7 mediocre at best reps. To progress, you want to explode higher and more powerful. For push-ups, that's going to be pushing higher. For pull-ups, that is going to be pulling higher. To further increase your explosive strength, utilizing resistance bands and weights makes your body weight movements seem a lot more explosive. And at last, we have muscular endurance. This is a high volume, low intensity training style aiming at around 20 to 30% intensity, where you aim to do as many reps as you can of an exercise within either a certain time limit or just increasing your total number of reps that you can do in one set. Really, any set performed in quick succession would count as endurance, but any reps over the 20 range is going to be purely endurance, because at the 20 rep mark, you're not really focusing on strength or hypertrophy. You are just aiming to do as many reps as you can. Great methods for this training style can include simple sets and reps. For example, you do 3 sets of 30 reps of an exercise, aiming to do as many as you can, saving a few in the tank. And then pairing with that, you take your last set until failure, and then you use a drop set so you can crank out more reps and further train your muscles to keep working without adequate rest. Another great method would be supersets, where you combine multiple exercises that are relevant to each other to target all areas of your specific movement. For example, you could do a set of regular push-ups, and then right after, without any rest, you could do a set of diamond push-ups, and then right after that, without any rest, you could do a set of pike push-ups, training all muscles that you use in a push-up without any rest. Another great method would be EMOM, or every minute on the minute. This is where you aim to perform an exercise, as it says, every minute on the minute. You would start a timer, perform your set of a movement at around 30 to 40% intensity, or 30 to 40% of your max reps. And then after you're done with that set, you would wait a minute and then perform another set. This gives your body some rest, but not enough rest to fully recover, while once again forcing your muscles to learn how to work without rest. Of course, all of this advice is implied with adequate rest and recovery during your rest days, or even just your recovery day. And now that you can properly structure your workouts and individual sessions, how do you structure your sessions? Here's a video I made on different calisthenics splits, ranging from 3 days a week to my personal 7-day split right here. You can click on it if you want. There's nothing else to see here. Why are you still here?